So you remember in Thor: Dark World how Thor and Loki team up to avenge their mother's death? And you were skeptical of Loki's actual intentions, but you know that losing his mother broke his heart, and so you were actually really kind of hoping the best from him. And then you watched how he interacted with Thor, and they're totally brothers. They shouldn't be enemies, they should be inseparable, and didn't you just want to see that movie? And then Thor and Loki go to confront evil elf Eccleston. Loki turns on Thor and tries to make a deal with the evil elves, and you were horrified? Loki, you dirty rotten scoundrel! And just when I was starting to think you could change too! And then you find out that it was a total psych-out, and Loki didn't really betray Thor, and it was a trap that they had set up for them, and you were the one in the crowd cheering. Woohoo! Oh, Loki, I totally believe in you. I know you can change. I know you can. And then Loki gets skewered, and Thor's crying over him, and you're crying, and they're having this touching brother moment, and Loki is redeeming himself, and he's apologizing, and he's telling Thor he's so sorry, and all Thor wants is just for his brother to live, but then he dies, and you're like, how can this cruel world go on? And then there's the end. You find out it was a double psych-out, because Loki totally faked his own death. Now he's masquerading as Odin, and he's sitting on the throne, and he's secretly taken over Asgard. Thor's just standing them, telling his father how Loki had saved his life, how Loki had changed, how Loki was worthy, how he had redeemed himself. Now he's dead because Loki saved Thor's life, but it's really Loki behind the mask. And Thor has no idea. He's just thinking about his brother and how happy he was that he redeemed himself and how sad he was that he was dead. And you're sobbing in the theater because a little piece of you just died. And you can't even shout at Loki because there are no words. If you experienced any or all of these symptoms while watching one of Loki's movies, then Loki, Agent of Asgard is definitely the graphic novel for you. It may have actually been literally written for you. The whole story kind of seems like it was born out of sort of the fangirl craze over Loki. Hey, not that I'm complaining. I knew very little about this graphic novel before I checked it out. In fact, the only thing that I knew about it was the title, Loki, Agent of Asgard, Volume 1, Trust Me. I'm sorry. When Loki, the god of mischief, says, trust me, I'm a little intrigued. I had to check it out, and I'm really, really glad that I did, because this book, this storyline is really, really interesting, and my fangirl heart is kind of going a little crazy, because I did have those kinds of reactions during Thor: Dark World, and I mean, everybody's kind of been always crazy about Loki. He's kind of been like the favorite Marvel villain of the movie franchise up to date. And I never really got on the craze until Thor: Dark World, when like there was this potential that, hey, Loki could be like a really good guy, and he and his brother are like, they have a great relationship, you know, when they're not trying to kill each other. They're just so much fun together. They're so brothers. And so that movie is really what got me interested in Loki as a character. I really wanted to see Loki redeem himself. And basically the idea of this storyline is, well, I'm kind of jumping into the middle of the Marvel universe here with this comic. There is a lot of stuff going on before this, but it kind of explains it in the beginning of this book so you know what's going on. Basically, what's happening is that Loki has fallen into this cycle where he has become not just the god of mischief, but the god of evil. He is the villain, he's the bad son. But Loki decides that he doesn't necessarily want to be the villain anymore, but the cycle is so ingrained in him and the world and people around him that there's really no escaping it. Unless you use a couple of tricks up your sleeve. So basically what he has done is he's kind of, I guess, reincarnated himself so that he can change fate. He doesn't want to be the same Loki that he was before, so he has taken matters into his own hands and he's basically giving himself a second chance. And I love the idea of that storyline so much. So Loki, Agent of Asgard, the idea is that basically he is trying to change his fate. He is working for the ruler of Asgard, which is the All-Mother, which I don't know where Odin is because, like I said, jumped into the middle of something in the Marvel universe. But he's doing missions for the All-Mother. And the deal is that whenever he completes a mission successfully, the All-Mother permanently erases one of his misdeeds from history. So Loki is basically slowly deleting the story of his life so that he can rewrite it. And if you aren't sucked in right there, then maybe this really isn't the story for you. So this graphic novel was just pure fun. I could not put it down. Loki is still Loki. I mean, he's sly and he's mischievous and he's always pulling tricks on people. He always has something up his sleeve, and that is what I love about him. He's so suave and he's so classy, and I mean, everything is in all of that. He's still Loki. He's just not quite evil, bent on destroying the entire universe Loki. So I really, really love this version of him. I can't quite decide if he's being completely upfront with the readers in the story. I feel like there's something else up his sleeve that he's not really telling anybody, and so I'm afraid that... So this is one of those stories where I'm like completely invested in the character. I believe in him. I know that he can change. I know that he can if he really, really wants to. It's just whether or not he really, really wants to. Because yes, Loki has reincarnated himself. Yes, Loki has given himself a second chance. But he's still Loki. So whether or not he actually successfully takes the second chance is kind of the whole question here. It's kind of whether or not he's actually going to be able to change his fate and change himself. And it's so much fun! I really like seeing Loki as the maybe almost kind of sort of good guy. I mean, he doesn't step into a hero's role by any means. He's totally working towards his own agenda, but he's not like bent on destroying anybody. And I feel like he actually has maybe a little bit of, I don't know, righteous integrity now. And I don't know, I really, really like that. And of course he does it all with the class and style that you would come to expect from Loki. 3 reasons that you really need to read, trust me. Loki. Obviously. He's singing in the shower. Personalized, wicked lyrics. Speed dating. There is something truly magical about this story, this idea. I'm not really sure what it is. It's the kind of tale that I've always wanted to see about a character trying, you know, to really hard to redeem themselves and kind of make up for their misdeeds and change their future. And I root for this character so hard, and I'm almost afraid that they're gonna let me down at some point. But there is so much to love between now and then. Just think Loki in Dark World, then multiply it by 1,000, then add in some Princess Bride references, and the fact that at least Loki's trying to be the good guy. Trust Me gets 4 stars, and this story was like candy. Highly addictive, giddiness-inducing green and gold candy. Read it.